A friend of mine has asked me if it's possible to use pink noise with the UI16 to shoot a room, to equalize a room. Now, I never did that. I never had to do that to get what I thought was a good sound, but I thought about it, and I think it is possible, and I'll show you the procedure that I would use to do that. I've got a little PA system here in my studio. That's going to be our test system. We'll see how it works out. You are going to need a couple things to do this. You're going to need something like this. This is a reference microphone, a microphone that supposedly has a flat response. This is a PVR1 from Peavey, from back in my autograph days. So let's get started. Okay, you're going to need a source of pink noise. This is where I got mine from. www.audiocheck.net, etc., etc. You can see it right up there. And right here, there is a 15-minute MP3 of pink noise. You are then going to want to copy that to a jump drive. Okay, I'm going to prepare the mixer for this. And I've called up the initial default show that has nothing in it. You don't necessarily have to do that, but I did. I've got my master set at unity gain. I am going to be plugging my microphone into channel 3. Before I do that, though, there's one thing in settings that you want to make sure you have, and that would be under settings. I believe it's under local. Here it is. Channel RTA on all outs. You want to make sure that that is set to on. Channel RTA on all outs. You want to make sure that is on. Okay, let's get back to the mix gain then. I am going to be listening on channel 3. I don't need the slider up. I want it all the way down. But I am going to look at channel 3 to make sure that, for example, the dynamics I'm going to bypass. The EQ I'm going to bypass. Yeah, the effects sends are all down. So I do believe now that channel 3 is ready to receive the signal. On my master, I want to make sure the EQ is flat. I want to make sure the EQ is flat on the master. And I think we're ready to go. I have my pink noise on my jump drive somewhere. There it is. Audio check pink noise. So let me hook up the speakers and so forth, and we'll get some pink noise going and see what happens. Okay, I have my speakers set at their normal volume. I have my reference microphone set up in the middle of the room, aimed at the speakers. Now in a real situation, you'd probably want to do this a couple times in different places, and you'd be a lot farther away from the speakers. This is just a demonstration. And now the fun part starts. One thing to note is I have my reference mic plugged into channel 3, and that PV microphone does require phantom power, so I had to turn on the phantom power. Okay. Now we're ready to get some pink noise going. So I'm going to go to my player, I'm going to find my pink noise, and I'm going to start it up. And I can see some signal here. I can see that it started. Let me go back to the mix gain here. And you're going to want the pink noise to be basically as loud as the band is. And this can get very annoying. So you might want to do this early before there's people in the place. Here we go. Next, I'm going to go to channel 3, take a look at the gain. I prefer it to be somewhere up around -12, but I'm pushing it pretty high to get there, but let's see what happens. Now I can go to my master and I'm seeing the RTA from channel 3. Now, my speakers have 10-inch woofers, so I'm going to be short on low end. There's nothing I can do about that. I could try to boost it. The idea is to get this flat. And if you're looking at it, up to about here, it is pretty flat. Pretty flat. And then using the graphic, I will try to flatten it out even more. Little hole right there. Goofy. Anyway, you get the idea. So, I don't think there's anything I can do about the low end here. I've got 10-inch speakers. So, that looks a lot flatter than it was. Let's see what it sounds like.
Hey, 1, 2, hey. I'm sure you can't tell from a cell phone, but that sounds kind of boxy to me. It could be the fact that we're using an SM58, so let me tweak the channel EQ a little bit. Hey, 1, 2, hey, check. Now that sounds pretty good. I called up one of the presets for male vocal on the UI16 and pulled the high pass filter way over to get rid of a bunch of low end. I'm sure you can't tell on the cell phone. That sounds pretty good. Let's try some music.
Now, if when you finish, you like your EQ curve, even if it's goofy like this one, you want to save it. So I would go to Presets, and you want to go to User, and we want to save it. That's going to ask you for a name. I'm going to call it Studio Flat. Okay, and now when I go to Presets, when I go to Users, I could call that back up if I wanted it. Well, I guess it kind of worked in here, but I think that basic procedure would work if you feel like goofing with it. So, there you are. See you later.